Hi everyone, and welcome to the Legal Leak series, where I leak what it's really like to be in the legal industry. So today's one is how to get work experience. I honestly totally understand where this question is coming from, because I feel like there's a very strong belief for those who are trying to get into law about showing their interest by getting legal work experience. I do actually think getting real life work experience is actually quite tough unless you do some of these things I'm about to mention. But I genuinely think one of the easiest ways to get legal work experience is actually online legal work experience. A lot of resources are available online and training courses that are free for students and for everyone, to be honest. You just literally sign up to a platform such as Forage, which has loads of online simulations and tasks of what it's like to be a trainee at a particular firm. And I think you can come out of it with a certificate, I'm not really sure. But also law firms have their own, whilst not actual, hands-on work experience, they have their own open days where you can network with some of the partners or trainees or something like that. Maybe you can secure some work experience. I think one of the ways that I will champion to this day is getting work experience through just going to a networking event. I was so young and I just told everyone, hi, I was in my teens and I was like, hi, I'm really interested in getting into law. This is the work that I do right now. And they were like quite impressed. And, somebody asked me if I wanted work experience out of that. So definitely would say going to networking events in person, and do not be afraid. If you're going to go with a friend, don't just stick with that friend the whole time. Maybe I should do something on networking, but actually speak to other people who are there as well with the intention of finding out who they are and genuinely just building a relationship rather than just speaking to them to get something out of it. I would also say you should 100% go online to find some courses and programs that might be available to you. I know that there are some social mobility initiatives that are out there that you can sign up to, such as the Social Mobility Foundation, SMF, which I am actually an ambassador of. And to be honest, I genuinely think, hands down, don't think I would have been able to get into law without them. So I am very grateful. They are a godsend. They're not the only ones though. There are loads of different initiatives that are out there where you can sign up to get some legal work experience. There are also some websites where you can sign up to get legal work experience, such as Student Ladder as well. I think that will be more relevant depending on what level you're at. But for example, if you go to university, you usually have a pro bono center or team or email address or society. I know also some people do some voluntary work with Citizens Advice Bureau. And I do also think it doesn't harm you to reach out to smaller law firms. So high street law firms typically do need quite a bit of help more generally, just because they have fewer people and they have a lot of admin. Now, whilst admin may not be super desirable, it does give you an insight to what it's really like to be in the legal environment in a high street law firm. And it gives you the ability to speak to different people who work in law. And you can also see the dynamics of a law firm. I know lots of people dream and desire of working in a large firm, but there are also smaller regional and just more local options that might be more available to you. If you are going to take the high street law firm approach, feel free to send an email, go there in person, be persistent if they say no or don't respond. And I would also probably say you might want to take that as unpaid work experience and be available as well. I will say this though, there are actually quite a few paid legal work experience, again, depending on, usually for people who are in university, to be honest. If you are in university, there is usually, and I honestly didn't discover this until like a couple weeks ago, but there is a careers section usually, or like a careers team in the university that you're at. And sometimes there are different companies that connect to different universities that will have specific options available for students at that university. Again, they may also have events as well, like very exclusive events just for students at that university. Again, would suggest networking, obviously making it clear that you're interested in getting some legal work experience. However, I definitely want to caveat everything that I've said by saying that getting work experience that isn't in law is still extremely valuable if you understand how to communicate why these transferable skills are relevant to the role. If you're thinking of applying to be a paralegal and you've never, done any paralegaling work experience, okay, but you've actually done some customer service facing jobs. Maybe you were a receptionist, you've done, admin. If you've done a vacation scheme, I think that's also relevant. So I say that because my first job ever was being a waitress. I was an agency waitress and I was a waitress at different corporate events. So, maybe I should have been networking. But all of that to say is that helped because I still had quite a bit to talk about. I do think definitely working in law, there is a huge customer service element to it. It's not just about you being able to be really good at the law and advising, but also managing clients and client expectation is in essence customer service a little bit. So I hope that helps give you some ideas on how you can get some legal work experience. Would strongly recommend online just because it's more accessible and typically you can do it at your own pace. But of course, if you are unable to, then do look at some of the in-person options that I mentioned. I hope that helps and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!